girl, Black Girl White Coat. Today we're back again with another vlog, and this vlog is all about pharmacy school. Today I have a special guest with me, Dr. Kendrick. I had the pleasure of meeting her while I was on my family medicine rotation. I felt like she had a great story to share, so I invited her to be part of Black Girl White Coat and to share and to get involved with mentorship because that was something she was really interested in. So just a brief introduction. I know you said your name already, but where you went to undergrad, pharm school, why do you want to be a pharmacist, all that easy stuff.
That's all the easy stuff?
Yeah.
So I am actually from Memphis, Tennessee, and my road to pharmacy school started in 9th grade. So I was trying to decide what I wanted to do. And University of Tennessee Health Science Center had a program. Unfortunately, I did not get in, but that's okay.
That's okay.
It started off early. Like, okay, my first no, but I didn't get into their program for high school students. But I still knew that I wanted to be a pharmacist. And one of the girls from my high school, she was way older than me. She went to pharmacy school, and the principal always talked about her. And she lived right down the street from me.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up talking to her, and I got really interested in pharmacy. It started with her, but after that, I said, okay, I'm gonna be a pharmacist. I'm gonna go to UT. I went to the real UT, University of Tennessee in Knoxville. I went to Knoxville for undergrad, and I got a biology degree. I was the first one to go to college, so it was important to me to get my degree. So I fell in love with biology in high school, so that's where it started. And then after undergrad, I went to Xavier in New Orleans for pharmacy school. And then after pharmacy school, I decided, well, in pharmacy school, I had some great professors. And at that time, I didn't know about residency. I didn't know about all the areas in pharmacy, and I really thought I was just going to Walgreens, and that's it. Be pharmacy manager in a couple months, and that was my plan.
I'm not gonna lie, that was my view of pharmacists
Really?
as well. Like pharmacists, they go to pharm school and then they go to like Walgreens or CVS or whatever pharmacy there's around. I did not know that like you could.
Me too. I was the same way until I met my professors and realized what they actually do, and I was like, oh, I want to do this. But to do that, I had to do a residency, and so I went through residency, and that's how I ended up being a clinical specialist. So it's different areas. Like I said, we have retail like Walgreens. You have clinical. You can be clinical in a hospital, in a clinic setting, in pharmaceutical industry. So pretty much anywhere. But for me, I enjoyed the direct patient care. Yeah. Love talking to patients and educating them about what they need to do about their medication.
But something that you mentioned while giving your little brief biography was that you were the first in your family to go to college. There are a lot of viewers that watch that are also going through the struggles of being the first person in their family to try to do anything like what they're trying to do. So really quickly, do you have any advice for those viewers who are first generation college students who have dreams that, you know, go beyond college? Yes.
So for me, I always think that my road was hard, but everybody's road is a little difficult to have some stumbling blocks in it. A lot of things I learned along the way. Because my parents weren't able to help me to understand what to do. So, but now you have social media and all that stuff and scholarships and things that you can get into now compared to when I got into pharmacy school. So for me, even for my nephew, and I think I told you about my cousin who's in pharmacy school now in Howard, I pretty much just taught them or gave them the advice that my mistakes, really. Learn from my mistakes. Exactly. So this is what I did. My nephew ended up going to school in full scholarship for his undergrad and master's through a program that we looked up. My cousin, the same thing. So the things that I did not know, the things I found out along the way, I tried to teach them, okay, this is what you need to do. This is the website, because taking on pharmacy students now, I learn things from them. And I'm able to tell my family members or my friends or my students who come through their rotation with me about the things they need to look into. So learning from mistakes from your professors or using them as a resource to get information can help them along the way.
So Dr. Kendrick, tell us a little bit about undergrad. How was that for you? What kind of student were you? Was it difficult? What were some challenges that you had and stuff like that?
So, like I said, I went to the University of Tennessee, a predominantly white school, the best school in the state of Tennessee. Okay.
I went to Baylor University. Baylor was predominantly white. Yes,
so just that itself, back in the 90s. So I'm old school. I went to, my freshman year started fall 95. So very few people who look like me in the arts and science department. And I met one girl in arts and science. We're still friends to this day. She has been all over the world, but we still find time to talk to each other. When I told you she was the first person that actually kind of took me under her wings, like, hey, you're the only one here. and this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
So, and she was a couple years older than me. And I ended up very shy, very timid, but I was ambitious and determined. So nothing was going to stop me, regardless of what my skin color, whatever. I was determined to graduate from the University of Tennessee. And along the way, my freshman year, I had 21 hours. I will never forget this story.
Freshman year.
Okay. First semester, freshman year.
Guys, I don't advise that.
No, and that is a bad idea. But at that time, I didn't know, right? So I didn't have anyone to guide me. So I went there thinking my advisor had my back. You need to take physics, biology, chemistry, English. I had psychology. I had 21 hours, full schedule, calculus, everything. And 4.0 student, I've been a great student up to this point. So I realized I was overwhelmed at midterms. And so at midterms, I met with my advisor, and she said, okay, so you're biology pre-pharmacy, so I really think you need to change your major. And my advisor did not look like me. And I'm like, oh my God. She said, you would never be a pharmacist. So I left the advisor's office, and I sat on the bench outside of arts and sciences and looking pitiful, basically. And this lady came up to me and was like, hey, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I didn't even know this lady. I said, hey, I'm failing out of school. I got an F in calculus right now. I'm trying to hold on to my grades. I said, I have so much going on. And then my advisor just told me I won't be a pharmacist, and that's what I want to do.
That's terrible.
So from there, she was like, come with me. I did not know this lady. I went with her. She explained to me what I need to do. And she was like, hey, I'm in grad school. Moving forward, I'm going to help you with your schedule. And she took me to the Black Culture Center at the school. Never heard of the Black Culture Center at the school. So she said, hey, moving forward, we're going to do this, this, and this. We just had this plan. And when I left her office a couple hours later, I'm like, okay, I can do this.
You can do this.
I can do this now. And basically,
a good advisor would do that. A good advisor would do that.
She, oh my God, great. So from that moment, every semester before the semester ended, I went to her. We fixed my schedule. I got my grades. And at that time, I don't even know if you can actually retake courses and the grade is removed. I have no idea. But the grades that I did receive my first semester in school, I retook those classes, got better grades, of course. And then moving forward, she helped me. And she was in my life, not just through undergrad, through pharmacy school, through residency, to my first job, until she actually passed away back in 2007. So as in undergrad, freshman year, I thought was going to break me because of all those things. But honestly, I was shy, timid. And from that point, I knew what I wanted to do. And having someone to support me emotionally on campus, because my parents did that. But someone in the same city I was going to school helped me a lot. And that's where it started for me.
That's incredible. And that definitely speaks to the power of a mentor. It also speaks to the power of an advisor, a bad advisor. Because I get a lot of emails from you guys that are speaking about how you went into college wanting to be a doctor or whatever, and then you ended up having a bad freshman year or one bad semester. You go to your advisor, and your advisor tells you,
can't do it.
I don't think your MD is going to be, at the end of your name, or med school is going to be in your future. And then you guys are all defeated and email me saying that, like, how can I really do it? How do you do it if this happens? And I really get angry at those emails because I don't feel like any advisor, like no matter what the student comes to you with, if they tell you that what their dreams are, what their goals are, what their ambitions are, what their passions are, and you tell them, no, you can't do that, you shouldn't be able to do that. So when I reply to all those messages the same way. It's always something along the lines of pick your head up, I'm praying for you.
Right.
And then also you always have to follow your passion at the end of the day. Somehow, some way it's going to work out. If it's your passion and if it's what God has you here for, I believe that it's going to happen somehow, some way. Your road might not look like mine, might not look like Dr. Kendrick's, but it's going to happen some way. So it's big that you spoke on the advisor, the good advisor and the bad advisor. So going to pharm school, so I know for med school we have a list of like prerequisites that we have to take, which is not anything that a university will like make you stick to. So you pretty much build it onto whatever major you have. So like for example, my major was Bachelor of Science in Psychology. And I made up my mind that I wanted to be on the pre-med track. So I went to my pre-med advisor who had a list of classes that the medical school in Texas needed you to take, required you to take before you could even apply to med school. So that's how I knew what classes to take on top of the classes I needed for my psychology major. How is it for pre-pharm and going on to pharmacy school and getting accepted and stuff like that?
So for me, like I told you, I wanted to get a degree. So when I left school, done. I took a year off before I went to pharmacy school. So I was done with school for undergrad at least. But I have friends who did the pre-pharm track where they did 2 years of prereqs and then applied to go to pharmacy school.
Oh, okay.
So pharmacy school is 4 years. But a lot of people you may meet did 6 years, meaning that they did 2 years of undergrad. Just of only prereqs, and then applied to pharmacy school.
So a degree is not a prereq for pharmacy
you do not need a degree for pharmacy
Okay, so that's different from med school, because med school you have to have a degree first. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you have to have a degree first, and then you can apply.
No, pharmacy school you can do 2 years, and then your track could be 2, which is just 2 years of prereqs, and then 4 years of pharmacy school. So you'll meet people who did 6 years, but for me I did 8.
Okay.
But a degree is not necessary. However, it did look good when I applied because I already had my degree, and then I worked a year in the pharmacy before I went to pharmacy school. Okay. But prereqs is basic science, so biology, chemistry, physics, organic chemistry, biochem, just the basic science classes that you need. You know, of course, you need social sciences, so that's psychology, sociology, English, calculus. That's the basic stuff to get into pharmacy school.
And then for med school, we have MCAT. Is there any tests?
So there's a PCAT.
Okay, PCAT.
At that time, I'm not sure about Xavier today because I can only speak about Xavier, but a lot of schools do expect you to take the PCAT, which is the pharmacy entrance exam. But Xavier at the time I took it because I applied to other schools, but at the time Xavier you didn't need it. But for sure you need the PCAT, depending on what school you go to. Xavier, like when I went to school, I did not need it. I took it, so I guess again it helped.
So you take your prereqs, which may or may not involve a degree. You take the PCAT, which some schools may or may not require.
Correct.
And then what about shadowing? What else did you do to boost up your application going into pharmacy school?
So that year, I took a year off from school.
Okay.
So remember, my freshman year was a bit much. So I actually did 5 years in school. So because it wasn't a bad thing. I did 5 years because that freshman year was a bit tough for me. And it's not because it was a bad thing. It's just life happened. Yeah. So I ended up taking a year off from school. And then that year, I knew I wanted to work in a pharmacy. So I went and found a job in a compounding pharmacy, which is it was an independent pharmacy, and they did a lot of the suppositories for infertility and all those things. So I worked there for a year and got some experience under 2 great pharmacists there in home. But I think having experience helped. You know, so I didn't shadow. I actually had a job in this pharmacy. Also in undergrad, I did shadow different pharmacists as well. I volunteered. Not just in a pharmacy, but just other things I love to do. So all those things, my volunteer work, shadowing, a job, in my undergraduate degree, I think helped.
Boosted your application for sure. So we get through undergrad, 5 years at UT, take a year off, you're working at a pharmacy, and then you get accepted into pharm school. Yes. So tell me how pharmacy school is. How grueling are the courses, the hours? Do you really have no social life? You know, people think in medical school we have no social life, but
really?
Yeah.
I went to school in New Orleans, all right?
Okay, that's point number 1.
Fun, but yeah, don't get me wrong. Pharmacy school was challenging. There were some classes I stayed up all night praying, like, Lord, please let me pass this class. And there were some classes that came pretty easy to me, but I think I worked hard regardless because I knew every year I wanted to end up moving on to my P2 year, my P3 year, my P4 year. Pharmacy school was challenging. Found a good study partner, a support system. It was not easy, but I met some great people in pharmacy school that helped. So social life, meaning that you have Essence Fest, you have Jazz Fest, you have just new Mardi Gras. So don't get me wrong, there were some times we went out. I turned maybe 25. They took me out. So you meet some really good people in your class that really become your family and friends and try to help you to get through pharmacy school. So yes, you do have a social life. You have a good time. So that's I think one of the things I think about when you're picking a school, location, how far are you from your family, because you do need your support system nearby. and money, because at this point you need to know, okay, is it going to be expensive to live there?
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to, get groceries versus
Yeah.
gonna be what I'm going to eat. So all those things came into play when I picked a school. So all my schools I picked were right around my hometown of Memphis.
So med school now, like you guys know, I'm in my 3rd year. So the first 2 years were spent like pretty much in a classroom. We did have a lot of clinical experience with like preceptorships and stuff like that. But 3rd and 4th year, pretty much only in a hospital or in a clinic. What's the setup of pharmacy school like?
Now, being that I've taken pharmacy students, totally different. They actually start these students off in their P1 year.
Oh.
Going on rotations.
Yeah.
I think it's called IPI. I think it's the introductory pharmacy experience. So they start off pretty early now, going into different pharmacy experiences to try to figure out, pretty much help them to see different areas and see where you want to go.
Yeah.
Now, because I take some of those students just to they're just shadowing. They're just asking questions, trying to get more information about what you do. And then, but the last year, of course, is hands-on. You're actually a clinical student on my rotation. You're seeing patients, you're doing diabetes management, hypertension, lipid management. You're doing all of that in your last year. But the first 3 years is pretty much shadowing, trying to see what's going on.
And then when do you have to make the decision if you want to go into like retail versus...
That's really on you, I guess. So your P1, like I said, my P1 year, I knew I was going to be pharmacy manager, right, in a couple of months at Walgreens when I was done with school. But you're exposed to so much your P1 year, and every year you're trying to make the decision now what you want to do. You have professors in different areas of pharmacy. You have people who come in and talk to you. Like my little cousin called me his P1 year saying, I just met someone in the pharmaceutical industry. I think I'm interested in that. But now he's P2, he's totally different again. So it's going to change a lot.
How many years are residency programs?
So we have a PGY2, it's 2 years. You have a PGY1 and a PGY2. Back when I was in school, you can go straight to a PGY2, which is like a specialized residency. So if you want to do ID, you go straight to ID out of pharmacy school. If you were interested in ambulatory care, you go straight to AM care. And they realized, wait a minute, we can't do this anymore. You're skipping the basics. So now you must do a PGY1.
Okay.
So that's just a basic pharmacy practice. You have ER, you may have AM care, you have cardiology, hospital. You have all your rotations, your PGY1 year.
Okay.
And then at that time, it's not required to do a PGY2. It's not required to do a residency at all.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do a residency, you want to go do
Retail?
Walgreens or nuclear medicine or whatever it is, just go do it. But if you want to do clinical work, if you want to do clinical work, then it's recommended, preferred, that you do a residency.
Okay.
So you do a PGY1, your basic, and then I wanted to specialize, and then I did my PGY2 in primary care.
Okay.
So that's what I wanted to do.
But good advice that you just gave.
Thank you a lot, didn't I? Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you for giving me like the layout of pharm school, because I was definitely just ignorant to all of that, and I think you've helped a lot of our viewers out too, especially those who are looking specifically to go down the pre-pharm track. So just to end out part 1 of this vlog, I just wanted to ask you, what's your best advice that you could give to the student who is either struggling to make the decision to, just go all in with this dream of becoming a pharmacist due to whatever the circumstances may be, or the students who's already in undergrad on the pre-pharm track but just finding it difficult?
Okay, so I was a professor. I've done a lot, haven't I? I was a professor before going into my full-time clinical. So I saw the pre-pharm students and the students in pharmacy school. So I worked backwards. So the students in pharmacy school, I had a lot of students come to me, hey, I've gotten this far in pharmacy school and I don't think I want to do this anymore. Or I had the students like, I'm here, but I'm not sure what I want to do. So it happens. You may know going in, this is what I want to do, and get it down the road. It's like, this is not really what I want to do. But for the students in and trying to figure out their place and what should I do, this is the time to decide, because you're spending money on things that you really don't want to do, or you're struggling, you're not going to make it, or whatever you're thinking. But just take some time, because I know some people who took some time away. Sometimes you may have to take some time, meaning I'm not sure if they even allow it now.
Leave of absence?
Yeah. A leave of absence, just to clear your mind, figure out what you want to do. And that's okay. Yeah, you may be behind a year. It's okay, because mental health is
number one. Yes.
So to take some time for yourself, because school is overwhelming. Grad school, medical school, I can just imagine. I know medical school, but pharmacy school is hard. So taking some time away. Now, if you're struggling because you're not studying, you're partying and all, that's different.
Yeah.
You need to focus.
Yeah.
So and that's happened. I had students come to me with that. Just focus. So if you know if your group is a wild group or you like to hang out, then you need to change what you're doing. Change the people that you're hanging with, and write down the reasons why you're here. I did that a lot. To this day, I still do that. Why are you here? My pros and cons of why I'm here, or why I'm at this position, why I want to stay. And that's what you need to do if you're in school. But if you're trying to get in and you're struggling, trying to understand, you're having a hard time in undergrad. Now, this is the time to write down those pros and cons. Is this what you really want to do? That's why I love talking to other people, because a lot of times you're so caught up with what other people want you to do, you're not really following your heart. And that's how you're going to be happy in the end. In the end, you got to be happy. Because if not, you're going to be miserable trying to do what other people want you to do.
That'll never bring any kind of fulfillment.
So, I hope I answered that question.
Yes, Dr. Kendrick's over here dropping gems for us. I really appreciate you filming part 1 of this vlog for us. We're going to continue and film part 2, but this is the end of this vlog. If you guys have any questions for Dr. Kendrick, her contact information is going to be in the next video, because the next video is all about mentorship, how you met your mentor who changed your life, and the importance that students that look like us need to see people that look like us in the positions that they want to be in. So that's what mentorship is all about. That's what Black Girl White Code is all about. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, stay tuned for part 2, and thank you for watching. Yes. Bye.